And I'm live. That is cool. Today is 3rd of December 2025, Wednesday, and with that, let's just begin. I had to go to college today, so yeah, that's why I'm a little late. Okay. Advent of code. Language spinner. Yesterday we did PHP, and before that it was JavaScript. Now, yes, we spin again, and we will spin this 3 times, and the language which comes on the third time will be the language with which we will do this. And since there are going to be 12 days in the whole advent of code this time, and on the wheel there are 12 languages. So yes, we will be doing all the 12 days in different languages. First one was JavaScript, then it was PHP, and today it will be something else, and that would be cool. And the difficulty of the question also increases. So if it is a familiar language at the later stages of the challenge, that would be much preferred, but it is a random wheel, we cannot say. And now 3 spins. Number one, spin number one. PHP wouldn't have mattered anyway. Second spin, JavaScript wouldn't have mattered. And now I guess it could be OCaml, I don't know. The last spin and the language with which we will go forward today, Dart. Okay. Shit. Okay. Dart. I don't even know where Dart is used. Like with PHP, I had a little bit idea of yes, this is used for web development or something. But okay, Dart. And yes, we will be using ChatGPT because, like, yes, of course. Dart language, Dart programming language. Let's see. And approachable, portable, supported by Google is like very supportive for different things. Go is also supported by, not supported, Go is created by Google. An approachable, portable, and productive language for high quality apps on any platform. Platform independent, approachable. Wait, this is how we write Dart. Dart compile into this format, this file, and then run the executable, time the executable or something. Okay. And this is how Dart looks like, and should we can like it has a main function and it is also compiled. Print, I do not have Dart, so clear you see. But yes, before jumping into advent of code, we will like have some little fun with Dart. And hello dot tree setter is downloading for Dart. That is cool. Brew install Dart. And before anything else, let's just also set up the LSP for Dart. We do have the tree setter, but we do not have Dart. Okay, something messed up. Let's see, how do we install Dart? Huh. Documentation, should that is a white thing. We want dark thing. Yeah. Cool. Language 2 dot SDK dot software development kit, and this thing said Dart SDK. Okay. Dart SDK software development kit, which means there are a bunch of softwares in this. And bottle is some brew thing, I guess. It is 200 MBs and it is being downloaded. Dart SDK. Let's see what is Dart SDK. The Dart SDK has libraries and command line tools that you need to develop Dart web, command line, and server apps. Are there any other categories? Yes. Server app. Yeah, yes, there are like mobile apps. To install the Dart SDK, see get Dart. If okay, we are getting Dart SDK, so that is cool. What is in the Dart SDK? Yes, that is nice. The Dart SDK includes two directories. Libraries contains the libraries, and binaries contains only one command line tool, two command line tools, which is Dart and Dart AOT runtime. Okay. A runtime. Shit, AOT compiled is runtime would mean something like node, and runtime is used for, generally speaking, interpreted languages, but Dart can also be compiled, so Dart can also be interpreted, I guess maybe, but Go is also compiled language and it also has a runtime. Okay, Dart SDK. We do have the Dart SDK now. Dart version. Yes, we do have Dart. Okay, we will just copy the hello world program from here. Not copy, okay, let's see. Void main, just C thing. And here we are using where, like JavaScript. And this is formatting inside this. And this format syntax, this is like PHP, this is like Jenga. Yeah, Jenga. This is the Jenga kind of format. jQuery, something like that. And print, okay. And hello dot dot. With that, it took. Wait, is LSP is not working? Of course. Yes, there are no running LSP clients. Hello dot dot. And why does it take this long? I guess it, it took this long to start the file because the tree setter is taking some time. I guess, I don't know. Void main. Inside we have print with single quotes. Hello there. And let's also use some formatting. 1 plus 3. And do we use semicolon in Dart? Yes, we do use semicolon in Dart. And let's use a loop for where I equals 0, I is smaller than n, I plus plus. Don't we use curly braces? We do use curly braces, so that is also cool. Yep. Hello there, and instead of 1, let's make it I. And now Dart compile hello dot dart, and how do we compile this thing? Here says Dart compile exe, but we do not have exe. We have, let's just say, Dart compiling, and it actually ran. It didn't compile. Okay, sub command. We have to give a sub command. And WebAssembly, should we can literally say what is the thing, and executable exe, okay. And it would infer what the executable type is. It does not infer what the executable type is. Self-contained executable. We can convert Dart to JavaScript if we want, to WebAssembly to that is cool. That is cool. AOT snapshot is something I don't know. GIT snapshot is just-in-time compilation snapshot. And exe is Windows thing. Can I? Yes. Just we just have this exe syntax, but I guess we can fix that by maybe giving a output thing and saying compile this as hello, and we do have hello. Okay, cool. And we can run the hello. Okay, so this is cool. This is cool. The base Dart command itself gives us two options. Either we can interpret our code and run it, or we can compile it and then run it. And we can even convert this into JavaScript, which is actually crazy. Not hello.js, hello.dart. And what do we have? What do we have? Out.js, out.js. And here is the JavaScript code for that same Dart file. And that is cool. That is literally cool. Okay, now we have like a very basic understanding of Dart. It is compiled or interpreted, whatever. Let's move. Um, how to define and use variables in Dart. Yep, there we go. Things simple, but it still expects you to think like an adult, not like a chaotic JavaScript engine. Where like this thing not allowed afterwards. Type is fixed. Okay, that is cool. Type is fixed. My bad. Explicit types. We could explicitly give the types. Okay, string is some type. Pi value, double integer, bool. Bool is also there in Dart. Okay, bool is also there in PHP. Never. Okay, final means constant or something. Const, compile time constant. This must be known before the app runs. Okay. And then late. Tell Dart I will initialize this thing later. This thing called title, which is of type string, where S is capital. Okay, only S is the thing that is capital, and all the other things are small, which is an indication that this string might be an object. Okay, we can do arithmetic. We can print using this syntax. Dollar. Okay. Expression. String question mark. Null. Might be a string, might not be a string. Can be null. You must tell Dart. Okay. Okay, we know how to write some basic variables in Dart. That is cool. Variables dot Dart. Okay, and let's say late, and let's also start Dart LSP. LSP config Dart ls. I think that is the only one, or there might be multiple choices. No, Dart ls is the one to go. Dart ls. Let's see how to start Dart ls. Where is it? It is here. Dart ls language server. How do we install Dart language server? Dart. Okay, language server comes with the development kit. That is cool. We just have to say vim lsp enable Dart ls. Okay. This is kind of not bloated, but yeah, close enough. Enable Dart ls, and Dart ls should now work. LSP info. Dart ls is actually working. That is cool. Okay. And let's say, yes, we are getting LSP. So yeah, that is cool. We're getting LSP. Okay, let's say final. We will. There is string class. Yes, this thing says class. So yes, the Dart is of class object oriented. Name, we will define name later. And expected this defined must be initialized. Okay, fine. Late. This will be initialized later. Okay. Void main doesn't take in anything. And here, let's say name will be equal to name, literally name. And age, variable age is, let's say, 20. And age is not being used. That does not matter. Age and just random thing. Okay, and then print function. And inside this, we have to provide an object of some sort. Okay, name is age plus offset years old, and that should work. Dot variables dot dot, and that does work. And we don't even have to say new line explicitly. Dot does it by itself. That is cool. And I would like to add a remap for Dart, like this one. Leader Dart and yep, yep. PHP instead of PHP, say Dart or the current file, not a Python file. Run the current Python file. No, to run the current Dart file. Okay, cool. And when we go here and we say leader DART, the program runs on, yeah, this split screen. That is cool. And now we can actually move on. Not yet, not yet. We don't know like anything about any data structures in this thing. So yes, first we have to figure that out also. How to store an array in Dart. Yeah, just that. Basic list. I think this might be on the stack. Arrays are just lists. That is it. Dart doesn't have a separate array type. Okay, arrays are just lists. Okay, we can have a list which is going to store integers. We can have a list which is going to store strings. You explicitly declare the type inside this thing. Dart likes knowing what is inside your box. Or this thing, mixed, or we could explicitly say what we are going to store. And this thing infers internally int will be taken or object in case we are changing the type. Or we can have a empty list, var empty string list. Okay, that is kind of strange. That is kind of strange. We are using here var, and we can declare a empty list like this, or we can declare a list like this. Okay, numbers dot add, adding items, add all, pass in a list, add the whole thing to numbers, and numbers was declared here. Adding items, accessing items, simply updating items. No, cool, that is normal. List of dynamic or any type or object type is the I'll clean my room later approach. Okay, fixed length rarely needed. Dot, this is fixed. Okay, 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 that is cool, that is cool. Let's say we will have a list in Dart of integers, and we will call it numbers, and then we will run a loop for where I is smaller than 20, I plus plus. This is like very basic thing. And here let's say numbers dot add and we will add I into 20 or something, or I into I. Hmm. Non-nullable equals empty. Okay, now numbers is our empty list and now we are full. But now in this case, this is null. Or here we can check if there must be some function to check if it is null or something. Join, fold, toString, that is cool. That is also object oriented. Okay, objects have functions attached to them. Is empty is different. Is empty is different. If numbers is not equal to null. The non-nullable. Okay, this is non-nullable. Now it is nullable. The operand null must be null, so the condition is always false. Remove the condition. This thing is nullable. Okay, it was not null. Okay, whatever the internal thing is in Dart, numbers dot add this thing, and then can we print a whole list? Let's see. We can print a whole list. Okay, that is good. And I think now we do have the necessary ingredients. No, we just need to know how to write a file. Yeah, I had to go to college, try D at some point. Just search the documentation for the name concept and you will instantly find it. And the naming is everything very intuitive. Okay, just check if the length of the list is not equal to 0. No, because 0 length would be 0 if the list is there, right? Length of an empty list is 0, but if the list is not initialized, then there is no object. There is only the variable which is not actually pointing anywhere. So yeah, 0 would not work, I think. In this case, 0 would work, but in this case, 0 would not work because numbers is not pointing to anything. I think I'm not a Dart expert. Okay, and how to read a file? No. Yes, ChatGPT is something that we are going to use. And yes, the fact that I can like literally convert Dart to JavaScript on the go with the SDK is actually cool. Dart IO is a fact. Okay, we import like this import. Okay, file. This thing returns a file descriptor, file pointer. Read file as a string. Contents file dot read file as string synchronously, and then print. So since there is a Dart runtime, there is a possibility of reading this file asynchronously because there is a Dart runtime. Okay, read the file asynchronously. Read file as a string, and here a string contents might print something empty. All right, read line by line. If you want to read line by line, file dot open read transform decode into this thing and line splitter transform. Okay, transform. Transform I think is a transform is a function. Open read and that function will run this function onto whatever the thing we are calling transform on and await for where line in lines. Well, let's do this. Import dart io commas. Unused, we will be using it. Okay, final file equal file dot slash, not hello dot dot, the same file, the file that we are reading. Okay, we have the file, and let's say string data equal file dot read as string synchronously. So we have read this thing as a string, don't print numbers, nope, and print data instead. Run dot, and yes, we do see the whole file printed. That is cool, and we can actually move on to solving the advent of code problem now. How? Okay, I will. I thought I solved it at night. That is crazy. Noise. Go on the go. Shit. Bro, first of all, bro remembers Go, that this guy is doing it in Go, and the pun is cool, yeah. On the go. Dart. That was crazy. And yes, since there are like 12 days and there are 12 languages here, so each day in a different language. That is one thing for this advent of code. This is short. That is scary. AOC CD day 3 part 1 dot dart. Okay, this is taking quite a bit of time to just start somehow. Part 1 dot dart, and yes, yeah, that took a lot of time. Hello.txt, that was fast, but part 1 dot dot, that was slow. And the only things that there are two things which are like different in this file. One is inspect tree. This is empty. One is this tree setter, and I think tree setter is the one that is taking time. Maybe, or it could be the LSP. It could be the LSP which is taking time to load. Could be. I don't know. Okay. Lobby. You descend a short staircase, enter the surprisingly vast lobby, and are quickly cleared by the security checkpoint. When you get to the main elevators, however, you discover that each one has a red light above it. Each one has a red light above it. They are all offline elevators. Okay. Sorry about that. An elf apologizes as she tinkers. Elfian maybe because as she tinkers with a nearby control panel. Some kind of electrical surge seems to have fired them. Okay, I will try to get them online soon. Okay, you explain your need to get further underground. Well, you could at least take the escalator down to the printing department. Not that you'd get much further than that without the elevators working. That is, you could if the escalators weren't also offline. But don't worry, it is not fried. It just needs power. Maybe you can get it running while I keep working on the elevators. Okay, so we have to fix the escalators, f- using which we will descalate. There are batteries nearby that can supply emergency power to the escalator for just an occasion. The batteries are each labeled with their voltage, that is something, rating a value from 1 to 9. You make a note of their voltage rating, your puzzle input. These are their voltage rating, and voltage seems to be an actual thing. It is shit from Advent of Code 2020. That is crazy. Okay, that is some internal jokes. Okay, we have the voltages. The batteries are arranged into banks. Each line of digits in your input corresponds to a single bank of batteries. Okay, a single bank of batteries, each line in the input. Within each blank, you need to turn on exactly two batteries. The voltage that the bank produces is equal to the number formed by the digits on the batteries you have turned on. For example, if you have a bank like this 1 2 3 4 and you turn on battery 2 and 4, the bank would produce 24 voltage. You cannot rearrange the batteries. Okay, largest possible voltage. Largest possible voltage. Okay, a bank can produce the total output voltage is the sum of the maximum voltages from each. There are many batteries in front of you. Find the maximum voltage possible from each bank. What is the total output voltage? Okay, that is doable. Yes, as I thought. This is the puzzle input. Crazy big. Text.txt. Shit, not numbers. Copy, paste. Yes, it does take time, and now we'll use the same thing. Remove the language you did, huh? That is nice. You should that is nice. That is nice. And add other languages. Nah, I want to do in these languages. And look at this. The SVG is the same as the actual add-on of code SVG. Kind of same, not exactly the same, but kind of same. Yes, I can remove PHP and JavaScript. That is cool. Yes, that is why I'm telling you to do with D or C++. Lord, why do I sound like some kind of ambassador? Yes, they are giving you money. They are giving you money. Bro has taken the money. Bro has sold his soul. Okay, let's read. We cannot read shit. Why the visual mode? Import dart io void main and final file equals file dot slash text dot txt and print file dot read bytes. My bad. Yes, we are reading things. Now we need to go line by line. Yeah, we need to go line by line. We did see in ChatGPT how to do that. Yes, and okay, and let's use the data equals file dot read lines. Shit. Wait, what is this? What is the return type? Return type is a list of string. Shit. Wait, why do we have future here? Why does it say future? Reads the entire file contents as line of text using given encoding. We are not giving it any encoding, so I guess it will take by default. By default, yes, by default, it does take UTF-8. That is cool. Hmm. Instance of fu future shit. Okay. Future is kind of like promise, I guess. And yes, okay, future, I guess, would be like promises. So there must be some trickery we can use dot ignore await. We literally have then, which is the JavaScript version of handling promises. Okay, then e okay, maybe we are going a little bit out of our league here. Sync, yeah. Cool. So now the return type does not say future, it just says list. Okay. And now we do see a list being printed. Cool. Cool. Okay. We have the list of data. Now what we need, or even before this, let's say print data, and what do we have at the end? Okay, we at the end we do not have a like empty line or something, so that is good. Now we will go and by line var int ls equals 0. Let's write a function. Yeah, let's see how to write a function in Dart. Wait, we will not look it up. We will not look up how to write a function in Dart. iOS, hello, what are you doing right now? Right now we are doing advent of code in a random language. Today the wheel ended at Dart, so we are doing advent of code in Dart. And this is the link of advent of code for today. We will not look up how to write a function in Dart. I think the LSP can help us. Shit, this is how we declare a function in Dart. Function does not take in anything. Yeah, this is like C, the same as C syntax. This function will return an integer, and let's call this solve, going with code forces syntax. This does not take in an integer, this will take in a string, and a string is an object, therefore it starts with a capital S. S return 0. Cool. And let's say int response equals 0 at the end, return response. Okay. And here for var I equals 0, I is smaller than data dot size length is a property. Length is not a function, length is a property. Therefore, we will not call this. And here rest plus equals, if plus equal is a thing, solve data I. Yes, plus equal is a thing. Okay, this indentation in Dart is kind of crazy, that here for the for loop, opening curly braces goes on the same line and the closing curly braces goes at like at this line somehow. That is crazy linting. Okay, now the only thing that remains is the implementation of this function. We just want the highest two-digit number, for which we will go like we have a string of a bunch of numbers. Right here we have a bunch of numbers, we have a string, and except the last number, we won't look at the last number. We need to find two numbers. Like out of this list we need to find two numbers, number one, number two. This is at ones place, this is at tens place. So for the first this number, our range would be from the start of the list till the second last element. We will not look at the last element because that is literally not possible. And among all of these elements, we will find the one that is the biggest, and that will be the one which comes at our tens place, and whatever the place was where we found that element, from that element till the last element, we will look for the largest, and that will be our last number, or like the digit at ones place. And does this work if we have a bunch of zeros? Then also this is going to work. Yeah, cool. Cool. Okay. Cool. Yes, this does work. Okay. Let's say tens equals 0, ones equals 0, for var I equals 0, I is smaller than s dot length, which is a property and not a function, I plus plus, and yes, the crazy syntax thing. And here we will return tens into 10 plus 4. And here, okay, we do not want to go till the last one, so till I plus 1 is smaller than this, right? And if, how do we type convert something like this? Okay, that is good. Si unnamed constructor. How to convert a character to your engine, huh? Your employer or college, me, a college student. Yes. Your engineer. Yes, me, engineer. Me, a very good engineer. Okay. Hmm. How to convert a character to int in type code. Should everything a character is also a string? Okay, string code unit at 0 gets Unicode unit at index 0. What does that mean? Character code. Okay, character code for int dot parse will return an integer. Okay. Yep. If int dot parse si, if this number is greater than tens, then we'll say tens equals int dot parse si. That is apparently the correct syntax. Okay, cool. And then now after this, when we have chosen our tens digit, we will find where does this tens digit appear for the first time, and beginning from that point on, we will look for our second digit, the digit at ones place. Yeah, this just to loop and time complexity is also fine. I plus 1, it would work with I also. S dot length I plus plus. Yep. If int dot parse, and yes, like there must be better ways to do this, but yeah, we are just doing this on the spot, on the go, but not on the Go programming language. Okay, if we have found the occurrence, the thing for which we were looking for, we will start our loop from this point. I is already initialized. We'll do I plus plus. Yes, that is the correct syntax. That is good. I smaller than s dot length I plus plus. And once, wait, there might also be a maximum function. So once equals max. Yes, there is a max function. Maximum among Wait, if there is a max function, we will use the max function also here also. Tens equals maximum of this the current value of tens, and here also this or int dot parse si, and at the end return this, and I think we are good to go. And the answer turns out to be 1785. Let's check if this is read as lines. If this is correct for this test case. That would be cool. No, third year this year. And just directly compare ASCII value. Apparently this thing, wait, I mean, I don't know that, but apparently when I looked up, a character is not a character. We have a string. We do not apparently have a character in that. That is something. And when I looked up for variables, explicit types in Dart, character is not here. So I guess we just have to use a string which has only one character to represent a character. That seems to be the way. Wrap the comparison in an if, like this. Yeah, we don't seem to have characters. Shit, maybe we can compare strings directly. That might be something we can do. Yeah, but let me first of all check the validity of the code. I think it is right. We'll just check. And here we are going to use macro. Go to the end of the line, go back, insert mode, this thing, back, go to the end of the line, this thing, comma, go back, okay, 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 macro pressure, uh, go down, go down, and quit. Okay, yes. Shit, this will not work for the last string. Yes. Okay, but for the other twos, this will work. We'll do this two times percent a. Let's go, but this didn't uh, go to the last line. That is also fine. That is also fine. Vim, okay. That and answer turns out to be 357, which is the actual possible correct answer. So cool. Okay, we can remove this. That 1785. Let's submit 17,085. Yeah, 17,085, and that is the correct answer. Shit, that is actually crazy. Let's continue to the part two. Part two starts from here. Okay, the escalator doesn't move. The elf explains that it properly needs more voltage to overcome the static friction. Static friction is more than dynamic friction on the system, and hits the big red jolt limit safety override button. You count the number of times she needs to confirm, yes, I am sure, and decorate the lobby a bit while you wait. Now you need to make the largest voltage by turning exactly 12 batteries in each bank. That is a lot of work. The voltage output for the first bank is still the number formed by the digits of the batteries you have turned on. The only difference is now instead of 2 we have 12 batteries. 12-digit numbers are the things that we are working with. Okay, part 2 dot dot. Okay, now we are working with 12-digit numbers. Let's call this function solve 12. Okay, yes, that does take quite a bit of time. Okay, solve 12, in which case, of course, using ones and tens and variables using manually is not the right way to go. We will use we'll have to like for where I equals 0, I smaller than 12, I plus plus. And internally, yes, yeah, this will do, this will do. For where j equals 0 and j not equals 0, we'll say start equals 0 and j will be equal to start. And while j is smaller than s dot length, which is a property, minus I, and we'll say I start at 1 goes till 0. Okay, shit, we messed up. This should start at 11 and while greater than equal to 0. Yes, and I minus. That's okay, makes sense. And yes, we will have two loops internally, and we won't have this. We will say that int. How do we have a long int in Dart? Maybe we can use a double 4-bit integer in Dart because we need to store 12 digits. Int type is sufficient apparently. Response will be equal to 0 and here return a response at the end. Okay. Okay. So here, first of all, we in this current range, ji till the end, we have to first of all find the largest integer number and current will be equal to 0. Yeah. We'll find the largest one and then we will find the first occurrence of that largest integer and we'll make the this start variable equal to that so that whenever we are looking for the next integer we are looking for it starting from this place. And would there be problems in some edge cases here? Some edge cases? No, there will not be any problem in any of the no, there will not be any problem in any of the edge cases. Okay, good. Yes. If int dot parse current integer is sj is the current integer, if this thing is or we just won't check current equals maximum of current or int dot parse sj. Right. After this, we current is pointing to the current thing var j equals start j smaller than s dot length. We don't have to do minus I because we did like find the thing beforehand, so we will find the thing again, hopefully. And if at any point we have int dot parse sj, the current value equal to the current value, we will say start equals j plus 1 and break out of this loop. And okay, at the end we will have the current value. What we need to do is response plus equals current into, is there a power, there is a power function. Okay, x is 10 and the exponent is I. Value of type, type num. Okay, num is a value type, it seems. What is num? Num is a value type somehow. Type function takes in num. Num is a value type. Let's do int. Parse does not work. The argument num cannot be assigned to parameter. String we are not. Parse is, I guess, for just strings. Try parse from environment. No. Let's see. Num to int int dot tall to int, not tall int, to int my int num. Okay, we have two nums, two int. Okay, okay. On this we can say two int. The num, whatever num is, num, some object, some object, some object. Okay, some object, some object. Which is like, okay, yeah, cool. Okay. And is I correct here? I is the number of zeros that we have, and I is correct here. Let's see. Apparently, the answer is this number. Let's test this for the test cases. Yep, for the test cases, which are which is this thing. Copy, paste, and vim macro, which is like already still there. 3. Yes, let's go. Answer turns out to be 3121910777. 3121910777. Yes. 8619, which is correct. So hopefully this is also the correct answer, and we will not copy paste, we will like read. 169 is the square of 13, I think. Yes. 130 plus 39, 169. Yes. So 169 for 16940 short-term memory is bad. 16940 40 is a good number. 814 is like pi. Okay. 308602868082. Not there must be some pattern. Somehow 82 is a nice number. 82 is a movie. 60 860 is kind of like 360, so yeah, whatever. Submit. Let's see, and that is the right answer. Let's go. We did day 3 and in 57 minutes, 59 minutes. So that is cool. Day 3 did, and we did this in 59 minutes in a new language that we had no idea about. So that is cool. And we can go to the leaderboards and check here. Let's go. Okay, this guy did, I think, okay, maybe this partial star means this guy, my friend, he did one question out of the two. I think that is what it means. I don't know. And I literally have no idea how the score is divided. Like, Why? He has done one less question than me and he has eight less points. I guess this also depends on time and stuff like that. Or maybe as the uh, days go higher and higher, we have like uh, the questions have more value to them. Okay, that is cool. That is cool. And anything else? Yes, let's see if we can compare strings in Dart. Let's mess around a little bit in Dart now. We have this thing working. Let's solve Hanoi or Halloumi puzzle. PP31. Let's solve the Halloumi puzzle problem in Codeforces in Dart. That would be nice. Halloumi boxes. If Dart is a submittable language to Codeforces, that is a lot, right? Yeah, bad track record. Can we submit in Dart? Mm, D is there? No shit. We can submit in literally in D, the D programming language, but shit, we cannot submit in Dart. Okay, that is kind of bad. Am I stupid? No, Dart is not there. Scala is wait, is Scala? Okay, okay, this is different. This is different. I thought this is the programming language that Björn Stroustrup, the man himself, the creator of C++, took inspiration from. And why is there a language called F hash? Crazy. Okay, let's do this one in PHP. We didn't do in PHP any code forces in PHP yesterday, so ah, PHP. Yes, let's solve Halloumi boxes in PHP. Huh. Uh, yes, cool. And okay, what we have is like how many numbers we can swap, and if the second number is 2 or greater than 2, then we will always say yes. But if this number is 1, then we will have to see if the list is already sorted or not. That is what we want in PHP. Let's do this. And yes, okay. Yes, now we are solving this question in PHP just somehow. F sharp. Yes, that is F sharp. This one JVM. That is crazy. Scala. Shit, Scala. Scala is different from. What was the name of the language from which Björn Stroustrup took inspiration from for his object-oriented design of C++? Object-oriented language. Simula. Not Scala. It was Simula. Okay. Close enough. Close enough. Git sp2 status and day 3 in Dart. Dart is cool. Dart is cool. And yes, I just realized downside since I'm doing this problem in PHP. I don't actually remember a lot of things from PHP that I did yesterday. And I guess that is very natural. But so I guess to get more of a sense of these languages, I will have to spend more time with these. So I guess starting from now, the first half of the stream would be me solving question in 1 or maybe 1.5 hour of the stream, and then we can build some little project in that language, some CLI tool. or whatever is the speciality of the language. Yesterday we did build a HTTP server in PHP, which is a overstatement. We just send hello world from PHP server. C3. Shit. C3 C through you. Okay. Origin 2025. Okay. Language CD. Not Dart, but PHP and CF dot PHP. Cool. Yes, I do trust this thing, and I do remember some things at least from PHP. And yes, to say that I have a variable, I just have to say my variable is this. This. Yes, my variable is this, and my array has first and second elements, and then I can print are these two things. My okay, how would I print? This using this syntax, okay, and share. Yeah, makes sense. I think yes, that is how I define the thing. My array, this does run. Okay, cool. And can I say with a comma also print my variable? I cannot. I cannot. But I can. What I can say is that hmm hmm. I mean, array this. Who said array this? PHP warning, array to string conversion. Oh, yeah, let's print them step by step. Print out also my variable PHP. Let's go. Okay, and now for the actual Halloumi problem, for which we have to see how to take in input from standard input text from not image standard in PHP. There might not actually be a very good input thing in PHP because this is like this was supposed to run on web and stuff, not for CLI tools. If gets while I keep getting lines, this thing gets the whole line. If gets reads a single line from the standard input, including the new line character, including a new line character, returns the whole string. Okay, reading the entire input into a string using this get string gets content of that. Character by character is also something which we can do, which is something that you might like, Archit Mishra, because this is very C-like. Remove Halloumi boxes. Okay. Let's get this is not gets. Okay, this is string. Get string. Line equals this and print r or print f. Let's use printf percent d comma line. Let's also use trim to remove that extra new line. Okay, we have f Then here we'll have this, which we will uh, like split on spaces after trimming. Cool. Function. Then the name of the function. How do we define a function? Uh, let's uh, t number of test cases equals f get the string and trim the string, get the string and trim the string and convert that into an integer, and while t minus minus, while this thing is greater than 0, keep calling function. Okay. And how do we define a function? Function name and ask like that. Okay. Function solve does not take in anything literally speaking. And here just call solve for each test case. Okay. Line equals f gets dot trim and dot split and takes the pattern or the string or the limit. By regular expression, we don't need a regular expression. This should work, and this thing will return a string. List map. What does map do? Map function iterate. Yes, that is what we need. We want to convert each of the things which are returned by this thing into an integer. This thing takes in a callable. Yeah, let's not do that. Okay. But that, okay, this is how we import things in PHP. Okay. Use function from amp iterator. My bad. Okay. And now we do need this. Okay. Uh, array equals, if gets, the next line is the array. Trim dot split, the same treatment. Right. And now if line 1 is greater than or equal to 2, then how do we print? We'll use printf. Printf, yes, but like, yeah. Else we'll have to check. Yes, yes and no have to be capitals. Okay, that is something. APL when? Oh, what is APL? Premier League and any APL is a language. APL, programming language. Stephen Kruger is an array-oriented array-oriented programming language developed in the 1960s by Kenneth Iverson, okay. For its concise code and special symbols, it is designed for array processing. We are not doing any array process that heavy array processing, meaning operations work on entire array at once. That is like GPU accelerated. Yeah, that is cool. That is some cool thing. Okay. And else, if we can swap at least two numbers, we don't actually care. And then if we can only swap one number, then we will have to go through the whole list. And here we say pos equals true, and for I equals 0, I smaller than line dot, not size like that. Okay. Length, that does work. I plus plus. No, okay, there is error. Length is not found. How do we find the length of a list? Size of. Wait, how were we finding the length of a list yesterday? Length of a list? Huh. I'm pretty sure we were not using any count function like that. Day two. Here. Sterling. We do not have a string, we have a list. Okay. Yes, so there is some difference. Okay. We will use the count function. No error. There is error. Okay. Here. No error. Now. Yes, no error. Okay, cool. While I is smaller, what we need? I is smaller than this. What we need to know is if line index I is greater than line index I plus 1. If the current one is greater than the next one, then pos equal true. And now, depending on pos, if pos, there might be some ternary operator, but we'll use this. Printf or or we can just say that pos is a global phenomena, and go here only in this case when this thing is exactly equal to 1 and we are not printing anything anywhere, everything everywhere all at once, and break. Okay, cool. And depending on pos, if pos, then printf yes with a new line is recommended. Does not even execute. Okay, there is no problem. Got argument f gets expected at least one argument. PHP cf.php. F gets, I think, shit. F gets is F gets for standard input. I guess F gets is not for standard input, and that is a mess up shit. cf.php, and yes, we do trust this thing. From gets line from file pointer stream, and by default, uh, if I say input stream is 1, I think input stream is 1. PHP in input stream might not be the thing. Replace this one too. Input stream is not true. Input stream might be 0 and input stream is not 0. Okay. std in. Okay, we have to say std in. My bad. Okay. Which. Okay, now it is waiting. Okay, cool. That is exactly what we want. Something fatal happened. Let's say we have two test cases. Error. Fatal, unguard. Trim expected at least one argument. 0 was given. Hmm. On branch 2025. How are we trimming yesterday? Explode. Yeah, we were not trimming anything yesterday. We were using explode, which was. Wait, explode. Would split even work? New line and PHP. How to trim a string in PHP. Yeah, let's go. Just literally the trim function. Okay. Trim function takes in the string itself. Okay. cf.php. So what we cannot do is pass in stuff like this. We'll have to say line equals trim and given the line. And not just this, split. I guess we'll see some error on this also. Okay. Array equals trim array. And here, yeah, split is a function. Split is PHP doesn't seem to be object oriented in that sense. Array equals split array like this instead of doing stuff like this. Okay. Line equals split and give it line, but also the delimiter. What is going to be the delimiter? Split. What is the function signature? Function signature is pattern, then the string, and then the limit. Limit, I guess, by default would be anything. Split this by a new space. Split this by a space, and here also we have to do something. D equal. No, we do not do this. What we will do is convert into int the output of the trim function, and trim takes in PHP. Let's say we have two test cases, and error unguard if gets expected at least one. It was this substitute f gets this thing with f gets std in. Let's say we have two test cases. That does work. And the first of our test case is, let's say we have a string whose length is 7, or an array whose length is 7, and there are like three different elements. Three, right? And error what? Split is apparently not a thing anymore. any ever. Explode, string, separator, and then the string itself. Okay, let's use it instead of split, explode, and we have just two test cases, 7 and 3. That does work. Let's say our string is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. That is 7, more than 7. Yes, answer for this one is yes, that is correct. And when I have 5 characters and 1, and I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. And now also the answer turns out to be yes, but yes is wrong. Right? Yes, yes is not right. Yes is not right. Printf, here, here as in, here is a rabbit. Two. So, one test case, 3. Okay, yeah, answer for this is yes. And then let's say 3 characters and 1. Okay, it did not say yes. It will say yes later. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Here it did go inside, but it messed up. Okay. We're not going till the last element, which is true if the current element is smaller, is greater than the next element. Shit. Pause. PHP, just one test case, 5 numbers and 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. No, cool. Let's submit this and see how is our PHP. That is something. Today I had to go to college. What part? Huh? Second part is so retard, bro. Okay, I don't get what part is like. What is it referencing? Let's see. And second part is somehow retarded. Let's go. Second part. Second part is fool. You have to know what you're doing. AOC. Yo. Yep. Bro, I'm late. I missed out. Shit, bro, missed out. Dart. We used Dart today. And in the spare time, we submitted a wrong answer for a 800 rated question in PHP. What answer was this? Why did we say no for the second one? Hmm. Why would possible? Why would we say no here? We would not, never would say no here. Okay, this might also be including some things that we do not want to include here. PHP, let's say we just have one one test case, and that is 3 numbers, 1 and 9, 9, 9, and why do we still say no? Okay, we shouldn't be saying no. And yes, right now, nah. Job log, bro is very busy. Bro is a like actual working, contributing member to the society, human being. That is too much work. Then start at 8 instead. Bro is managing too much stuff by himself, doing a job. He has a stream, and there is this like advent of code thing, and it's cool. Contributing member to the society. Okay, and here printf hello %d and comma line Not this, but just I. Like, what was the index that we messed up at? 13199. 0 itself. So for index 0, when I equals 0, apparently, the next number is smaller than the current number. Let's also print the next number and the current number, comma, live debugging, BTW, plus 1. Just one test case, 31 and 999. Shit. Yes, yes. Yes, I am stupid, my bad. Substitute line with array globally. And now, if without checking, without running, if I submit this, this would hopefully work. I was using the different array, so that is a bit retard. Yes. Okay, or maybe there was some other technical problem. Why do we still say no here? Okay, here we are checking line. That is retard. Why are we still checking line here? Huh? Substitute in this line the word line with the word array globally. Let's go vim copy paste submit PHP OG and look at it go. It is running. Yo, accepted. Let's go. Shit. My first instinct was to go there and stop the timer, but there is no timer. Okay. So that was cool. That was cool, and that would be it for today. If there is no some farmaish, I mean, like what could you even be? Let's see. What is Dart mostly used for? And maybe we can make a little app in Dart because I have already forgotten all the code that I have written in Dart. So that is not very cool. Day 03. Yep. And this is Dart is C like. For loop is C like. There are different few ways to define variables in Dart. Okay, and maybe we will build something in Dart. Can you explain? The AOC, have you read the question here? Like, okay, in the first part, just removing all the story, what we need to find out is we need to make a two-digit number out of every row, the maximum possible two-digit number out of every row. So if we zoom in on a singular row for, let's say like this row, what we need to find out is take one digit and then a second digit after which has a position after this digit, and those two will come together to form a number. Like here, if we choose this 4, or we can choose this 4, and the second number could be this 2, we will have 42, right? Yeah, so and we have to find the largest two digit number in this way. So for this row, the largest two-digit number would be 98. That is cool. In this row, the largest two-digit number would be 89. We will choose the 8 and the 9, and we cannot swap the order. We cannot say we are choosing 9 as the first number and then 8 as the second number. No, we cannot do that. We'll say 89 is the biggest number here, and here I guess it is 48. 48, 78 is the largest number here, and here 92 is the largest number. And after finding the largest number for all the rows, we have to just add them up, and that is our answer in part 1. But for part 2, instead of finding a 2-digit number, we have to find a 12-digit number. So that is something, yes, and that is the whole problem. That is the only change between part 1 and part 2. In part 1, we have 2-digit numbers, and in part 2, from each row, we have to find out the largest 12-digit number. Yeah, got it. Genius. Okay, now what I want to do is like this thing here just says JavaScript, which is very bad because GitHub only sees the main branch for these languages. So it would be really cool if I could add and change the default branch to be 2025 so that I would have like different languages for all of these. That would be cool. GitHub, navigate to repository, access settings, locate default branch. Shit, is it like that easy? Default branch, rename, switch to another branch. Shit, that was way too easy. 2025, update. Changing our default branch can have unintended consequences that can affect a new pull request. We do not have pull requests. Update default branch, and here default branch is this. And why do we still have Java? I guess this thing will take a little bit to update. And this thing I guess will take a little time to update, but hopefully. So day 1 was in JavaScript, bad enough. Day 2 was in PHP, day 3 in Dart, and somehow we have get ignored here. Makes sense, out. Yep, that was it. Yep, late stream. Shit, it is like actually pretty late at your place in Australia. Wait a minute. I had to go to college. That is why I'm late. Laptop is charging now. We'll do a small stream for this. Yo, I will be watching. And just change the feature branch. Yeah, it will apply in settings of repo. This language thing for being used now, but by default for only languages and name that now can I looks or all the languages and all the branches or something similar. You cannot force GitHub to look at that. Okay, and because like also this does make sense looking only at the main branch, because how would GitHub calculate the percentage otherwise? Would it give the same weightage to each branch, or would the weightage for each branch be calculated on the amount of code that is written in each branch? Yes, don't know. Can I GitHub update and show the for the we'll get up show the languages for the updated branch which has like different not instantly yes we'll calculate the language statistics on the okay it is a background job and it will happen whenever it happens so that would be it for today or maybe we can do something else because it has just been like 1 hour 40 minutes 1 hour for the code forces thing for advent of code and 40 minutes for I don't know writing code forces in PHP. That is cool. Okay, let's see simple projects in Dart or let's do some research on Dart programming language. Language 2, Dart overview. We can go through this, but that does not feel very good. Like, why would I even look for like, exceptions just now? Async, yes, Dart does have a runtime, so we can call functions asynchronously, just like in JavaScript. That is cool. And yes, Dart is also compiled, and at the same time, we can also run Dart as interpreted, just like Go. So that is cool. And the Dart the main Dart SDK software development kit, it by default ships with a transpiler that can convert your Dart code to JavaScript. So that is cool. That is literally very cool. And the SDK also comes with the LSP, which makes sense. Like, yes, of course, it would. Community, or let's say projects in Dart. Dart project, GitHub stuff that have been written in Dart. Dart looks cool. Temperature converter, calculator, to-do list app, password generator. Dart is also used for web, it seems. How to serve some web page using Dart. Yes. Let's go. 13 minutes long video. Or web deployment. Build your own app. Let's go. React in Dart. Web dev. Yes, there is an option in Dart. Yep. When we use the Dart command, here we can say compile, and after this, we can give a couple of options. After compile, we can say compile into an executable into just-in-time snapshot. That's something I don't know. Just-in-time, I do know, but I don't know what snapshot of just-in-time would mean. We can convert into a kernel or into WebAssembly. Let's do this. Let's write a simple for loop which prints 10 numbers and convert that into WebAssembly, and we'll see how can we run WebAssembly onto our browser. That is a cool thing. Let's do that. Okay. Let's write a simple loop in Dart and loop.dart. Yes, that does. I don't know why it take time. Mean and int I equals 0, or we can even say let's use the full functionalities of this Dart programming language. Int I, and for we already have defined I. No, we have not. I equals 0. I is smaller than some number 50. I plus plus. Print object is number I. And now we can run this directly and we do see all of the numbers, that is less than 50, less than equal to, start from 1. And now we can compile this into an executable using dart loop, dart, and output into out. And now we can run dot slash out, and we do see 50 numbers. That is nice. And we can do dart compile web help WASM okay, WASM web assembly loop dot dart. We have loop dot WASM and JS init file. Let's have a look. Okay, makes sense. That is some assembly. So yes, that does make sense. WASM dot map. It said that the main files are this one and this one. Whatever. WASM. Is the thing importing some at some point the assembly file? No. ChatGPT. Yes. I have converted my dart file to WASM. How can I run it on the browser? How can I run it on the browser? Mm, no nonsense. Okay, like the actual thing. Okay, that doesn't lie. I think that is exactly what we got. Compile this thing. You don't get a standalone WASM module. You can, which you can just fetch and run. Okay, because I don't even know how WebAssembly runs on the web. Yeah. So generally, I think the idea is we fetch the WebAssembly file and then we run it somehow. Yeah. Get three essential parts: WSM file, WebAssembly, GS loader, runtime, initializes the WSM and wires up starts a runtime somehow. Sometimes a file, a worker file for multi-threading in the worker.js. We don't have worker.js, I think. Compile Dart to WebAssembly directly like this, main dot WebAssembly, and then we would have optional metadata. WebAssembly.js. Yes, that is something I think we do have. Or we don't have shit. We do not have that thing. Dart compile into WebAssembly loop dot dart output into loop dot WASM, or file dot WASM. What do we have? We have MJS. Why do we have MJS is manifest JSON? MJS n file dot MJS. Yeah, I guess that is the JSON file that is going to include or whatever. Okay. Create minimal HTML loader dot assembly script type import from the same folder. Import init and then init module, call init with this thing. This is the basic HTML that we need. Okay. Okay. Dart or WSMV, and instead of main, our thing is substitute main with file, and here instead of simple JS we have MJS manifest JSON, and let's do npx serve this current folder, and we can go to localhost 3000 and And nah, this thing was not found. Yes, which does make file dot mgs. Okay, next one. My bad. Uh, npx serve. Now we might be cooking. Does not provide an export default at line 914, which is, we can look directly from here. Init import, and the error is syntax error. And the requested module, this thing does not provide an export named default. So what are we importing from this? Index.html and import init from that. Map is something we don't need. My bad. And file.mjs export. Okay, this thing is exporting a lot of things, but export is this thing is exporting a lot of functions, but like, what do we do with them? This is not exporting any default function. Yeah. Okay, we will go like full on chat GPT now. File.mjs. This is my main.mjs file. What? How we are running this on the web? And yeah, yes, index.html, WSM. This file you did paste, yes, and yes, main import compile streaming. Okay, compile streaming, which is a function in this right here. Compile streaming, and then compile streaming fetch this thing compiled, await compiled the dot instantiate instance it shit instantiate creates an instance, and then we invoke main. Cool. File.mjs. Yes. Compile streaming yiw. Import this function from this thing, and then const, let's say compiler equal compile streaming fetch dot slash file dot wasm, and not just this, await this, and then const await. Wait, is there any LSP running? There is TypeScript LSP running. That is crazy. Though there is no LSP code snippet suggestion. Instance equals await compiler dot instance associate with empty thing, I think, was it? Instantiate is empty and then invoke main on the instance. Not invoke main. This should work and px serve. There we go. Let's go. WebAssembly working in the web as is the name. Cool. Let's go. Okay, we can run WebAssembly in the web. We can write code in Dart that will run on the web. That is cool. That is cool. We can write code in Dart that will run on the web. That is actually cool. Init is not defined. Who is even doing anything with the init? Makes sense. That is cool. That is cool. And that would also be it for today's stream. And that would be it for today's stream. We did advent of code in Dart, and yeah, that is cool. And thank you for being here. Bye.